If you ever wanted to make your Power BI report look like an app with bookmarks, check this out. All right, also there's two different ways that you can do bookmarks in Power BI. The first way is going to be to layer items. That's the way I personally like to do it, is because then you could have everything in one single dashboard, and then you don't have to build out laterally, because the more tabs you have, the more confusing it gets, the more you have to manage, things like that, right? So it's confusing, it can get overwhelming. I like to do layers. So that means stacking items on top of each other. And so as you maneuver through the clickology of the application, you select different reports, different views. You can see all the different charts that you're maneuvering through. Whereas the other option, so option number 2, is going to be the page navigation option. So this one is going to allow you to click on something and be redirected to a page. Now, it doesn't mean that the page that you're being redirected to is completely different than what you were just looking at. It could mean that it's a exact replica, but just a slight change when it comes to certain visuals or charts or KPIs. Now, there's no right answer on which one you should do. There's just a preference. I personally like to do option 1 because it leaves everything in one dashboard, whereas option 2, you kind of are building out so many tabs and it's a lot to keep up with. So I just want to give you all the information so that you can decide for yourself on what you think is the best approach. So first thing we'll do is we'll go with option 1. All right, so first up is going to be our starting point. So this is where we're going to start. So this is going to be our main page. We're not going to have anything too crazy that we're going to develop. We're going to keep it simple, but I just want to show you what it looks like for option 1. So up front, we have the chiclet slicer. So we're not going to change that one. We have a multi-row card. We have a decomp tree, and then we have a pie chart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bookmark to where you have a home option that takes you back to this starting point that we're at right now. And then we have another option where it's going to be a layer, and instead of showing all these different charts, we're just going to show a by name list and a different visual. So nothing too crazy, and then we're going to flip back and forth to show you how those layers operate and how you can create those bookmarks. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and create 2 different bookmark buttons. So all I'm going to do is go to Insert. I'm going to go to Buttons over here. And I'm going to select Blank. And I'm just going to bring it over here. And I'm going to expand this out a little bit. And I'm just going to turn on the text. And I'm going to say Home. So as you can see, that text popped in, but you can't really see it. So I'm going to make it white. I'm going to increase the size a little bit, make it bold, maybe underline it. I'm actually going to remove the outline too. And we're going to leave it like that. So now we have one button, right? We're going to make another one. So I'm going to control copy that, paste it. I'm just going to put it right next to it. But this one's going to be called, we'll just call it by name. And now we have 2 different buttons, right? But nothing's actually active because you can see that the action is not turned on yet. And even if we did turn it on, there's nothing that we can bookmark to. So if I clicked on bookmark, it's actually nothing built yet, which is why you have none. So what we're going to do is we're going to build out the first bookmark, which is going to be the home page. So I'm going to keep it as my view that I have right now. So whatever your view is, that's going to be your default state, is what you want to save as your bookmark. And that really goes for any bookmark, is as you change things, hide things, you want to save the state that you're in. So I'll show you what that looks like here. So we're going to go to View. We're going to go to Bookmarks. And now it's asking us to add. So we're going to add, and we're going to change the name. We're going to call this Home. It's actually going to be Visuals Home is how I like to do it, because it's the page that we're on and then the bookmark that I'm naming it. So that's my way of titling these. And then I'm going to go here. Now I'm going to turn the action on if you haven't turned it on already. And then now I have my Visuals Home option. Right? But we haven't done anything because I can click on this. Right? Control click if you're in the desktop. And it doesn't actually do anything because there's no interactivity yet, because we haven't set up the other bookmark. So now let's minimize this, And I'm going to now hide some of these charts. Before I do that, I just want to save the template because I like to make my life a little bit easier. So I'm just going to copy this. And then I'm going to hide these three. So I'm going to go to selection now. I'm going to select which one this is. So I'm going to hide this one. I'm going to hide this one now. And I'm selecting them because I can see which one it is. And I'm going to hide that one. And now I'm going to make my visuals for this bookmark, the by name one. And the reason I copied this one is that I can click on the table and it kind of saves my format just a little bit. Not everything, but it at least saves me some work. So I'm going to go to my Chiclet created table and I'm just going to input the data that I need. So I'm just going to put name. And let's go department as well. We'll remove the level, remove the total because we already know it's 1 for each person. We'll incorporate region and status. And that's what we have. And if you have a wider table, you can always expand it out, but we're just going to leave it like that. And I'm going to format this just a little bit. Nothing too crazy here. We're going to do alternating rows. We're going to change the color. We'll just make it black. And we'll leave the rest for now. And then I'm going to go ahead and create a card. I'll put the card over here next to it as well. And this dashboard is going to be pretty basic, so it's not going to have everything that you usually would have. And we're just going to edit this measure here. So I'm just going to do total equals calculate new Chiclet created. And then we're going to go to coalesce here. And now we have a total KPI. We're just going to toss that in here real quick. And then we know our total is 500 employees, so we validated that. And that's going to be our one measure that we do for this one. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to bookmarks. We're going to add a bookmark, and this could be the by name one. So I'm going to call it visuals dash by name. And then I'm going to assign the by name an action. I'm going to go to bookmark here. And I'm going to say by name. And now if I click on home, it says we can't click on by name because I'm already here. We'll see what happens. Since I clicked on home, Power BI is like, hey, you added this new stuff, but you didn't hide it. So now you got to hide it and update your bookmark. So that's the next step we have to do now is since we're on the home one now, since we just clicked on it, I'm going to highlight what we don't want here. So we're going to just hide it for this bookmarks use case. And then we're going to go back to our bookmarks. We're going to update what we have. And now we can minimize that and click on by name. And here we are. We can click on home now and then by name. So as you saw, when I clicked back on home, those two new charts popped up. The measure, the card that we have, and the table. And that's because anything after the first bookmark, it then populated because it no longer took that update, right? It didn't take the update because it was already made after the update. So then you have to go back to the previous bookmark, the initial one, the home one, or ones that you made prior to the addition of new visuals and update those bookmarks. So just keep that in mind as you're building it out. All right, so option number 2 is going to be page navigation. So this will allow you to click on something and it's going to take you to a new place. So you can use that with the image. You can use that with a bookmark style box that we have here or something else. But what we have is by name. So we're just going to iterate upon this one. We're just going to update it real quick. So we're going to go to action. We're going to go to page navigation now. And the page navigation that we want is to be visuals to, so the duplicate. So I just copied this page here from visuals. And I just made a copy of it to duplicate of visuals. And rather than having the layers within this report, it's going to simply navigate over to this tab that I made. So all you're doing is just clicking on this one. And then here we are. So you can see the format maintained for the Chiclet slicer because nothing changed there. All that changed was the body of the report, which is my visuals. My bookmark for home didn't change as well. So if I click on that one, it's going to take me back to where the original home option was. Now, that's an option. It's cleaner. It's easier to really manage for some people just because you know exactly where each button takes you and you just have to update that one specific place. Whereas if you want to do option 1, you could always do option 1, 2, and just layer things on top of each other, hide them. A little bit more steps, but it keeps everything in one centralized location. But ultimately, it's up to you. The next thing I want to do in bonus material is show you what if I just hid this duplicate of visuals and I still clicked on it in Power BI service as an end user. What's going to happen? So let me walk you through that real quick. All right, so check this out, y'all. So I just published a report, and as you can see on the pages that we have here, we don't have the duplicate of visuals, right? So we don't have that other option. So the question now is, can we actually navigate to the other page without seeing it because it's not even here? So let's just click on by name and see what happens. And just like that, so Power BI service is still going to allow you to navigate to the page even though it's physically not present here. So it's kind of like a hidden page, if you will, right? In Power BI Desktop, you still have the capability to see everything, but you're hiding it. And the only reason you're hiding it is because it's not going to be visualized here on the panel. All right, so with that said, hopefully this gives you all the information that you need when it relates to bookmarks, whether it's page navigation or layering items. You can do it whichever way you see is best for you and your organization. But hopefully I was able to give you all the answers that you need in relation to this topic. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, y'all.